What's good? What's good? What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big J, coming at you all the way live. And today on Industry Talk, I have a very special guest, very good friend. Miss Nikki Coleman will be joining us today. Yes, we have a good time today. Great conversation. Um, and just to give you a little background, I highlight Mississippi. Everything that comes out of Mississippi, anything that comes out of Mississippi. Because I'm Mississippi born, raised, and I'm in the great state of Mississippi. So we have a phenomenal talent that we're going to be bringing on board today, Miss Nikki Coleman. And look, just to give you the heads up, you can reach out to Nikki at www.nikki, N-I-K-I, Coleman, C-O-L-E-M-A-N, NikkiColeman.com. Go check out my girl, Nikki Coleman. She's one of the funniest ladies that you ever want to be around, have a conversation with, sit on stage doing a comedy. Nikki Coleman is bad. Yo, she bad as I don't know what. And if you, I think it's on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to ask her when she gets on. But Kill Tony, she's an actress. Comedian, she does it all. So Kill Tony is one of her um, features that she was in, a movie that's out there on Tubi right now. I'll give her an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. But we're gonna get into it in just a little bit whenever we keep this thing off at 4:30. But as always, before we get started, I'm gonna give out my shout outs to everyone that you need to actually pay attention to and things that we got going on. Because I like to keep you informed. So www.freewayRickyRoss.com, www.freewayRickyRoss.com. Make sure you go grab the book, 21 Keys of Success and the Untold Autobiography of my good friend, Freeway Ricky Ross. Make sure you go grab your copy. The 21 Keys of Success, great book, and the Untold Autobiography of Freeway Ricky Ross. And that's www.freewayRickyRoss.com. Also, Shared Success Blueprint by Tiffany Gaines. The Shared Success Blueprint by Tiffany Gaines. You can reach out to me for this book, or you go link up with Tiffany, and she'll be more than happy to send you a copy of her book as well. The Shared Success Blueprint with Miss Tiffany Gaines. Um, we also have the Getting and Keith Wallace project that's coming down the pipeline. The Redemption documentary with Keith Wallace, as well as we're creating his tour schedule for next year, for 2025, jumping that thing off next year, first quarter. We're going to be seeing a lot of positive things coming out of the woodwork for Keith Wallace. Um, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting. We also have, let's see, I can't forget this. I can't forget this. Ecto Music just dropped. Go crazy. Video production will be taking place in Dallas, in Texas. We're going to be linking up with Boss Talk Podcast 101, the main man, CEO, and Miss Jamaica over in the Dallas area with EXO Music and Lil High, who is featured on that track. We're going to be creating that video production there in the Dallas area. We're going to be linking up with DCE Label as well, my main man over there in his studio, in his nightclub. We're going to be doing some of the production there as well. So be on the lookout. If you know any ladies that are interested in participating, any guys that are interested in participating in the video production in the Dallas area, get at me. Let me know what's happening. We'll get you linked up, and it's going to be awesome. Great song, Go Crazy. AK Music. She's a legend in the game out in the Dallas area. So lock in with us, man. We're doing some real productive work. So before we go ahead on and bring Nikki to the stage, I have a whole bunch that I want to talk to you about. My man John Hope Bryant with the memo. Okay, we're talking about financial literacy at this point. You know, I'm a big proponent of talking about financial literacy and making sure that you're doing all the things that you need to do to secure your assets and commodities moving through your life. The memo is a really good book. Um, Up from Nothing by John Hope Bryant as well. Okay, Up from Nothing, and of course, the one I'm working on right now is Financial Literacy for All. All of these books are by John Hope Bryant. And it is 4:30, so let me get Miss Nikki onto the stage with us, and we're gonna kick this thing off. Let's see here. Oh, ho, ho, ho! What's going on, Miss Nikki Coleman? How you doing today, sister?
What's up? I'm good. I'm freezing in my house right now, so I had to go
Freezing.
grab a
Is it
blanket
cold out
real
there?
quick. Yeah, only because all these fans on. I had a slight little flood go on in my house, and they got all these fans in my house, so it's making it kind of cold.
Okay, okay. So you up in Austin right now, right?
Well, actually, I'm technically in Pflugerville. It's right outside of
Pflugerville.
Austin. Yeah, it sounds like
Okay.
a Dr. Seuss, town. Don't try to say it if you rolling a blunt, you'll spit all your weed out. Like, where you from, girl?
Uh,
Just spit all the weed
Pflugerville.
out.
Pflugerville. All right. Now, how far out of Dallas are you in Pflugerville?
About 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. I know you've been doing a lot of work with Joe Rogan and those guys up there. So, what's that connection? And how far are you from the studio?
From where I am, about 20 minutes from the Comedy Mothership.
Okay.
I've done a few shows there, like the open mics. I've done the bottom of the barrel there, and
Hmm.
I did the Kill Tony show, but it wasn't with Joe Rogan. He's just one of the sponsors for that show that
Okay.
allows him to have it at his venue when they have it. So
Gotcha.
it's kind of separate but the same, you know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
don't work too much with them anymore.
Hmm.
I've taken a different path. I'm going out of town a lot, San Antonio, so I'm staying busy.
So you're on the road. You're on the road. Okay. So let's rewind right quick because I jumped into it because I had some quick questions based on intro, but let's get into it. You're originally from Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
I'm sorry, your mic gets
Can you
muffled.
hear me now? How about now?
Yeah, yeah, that's better.
Hold on a second. Let me get it all the way right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. So you're originally from Ocean Springs, Mississippi?
No, I'm from Lorman, Mississippi, Claiborne
Say that
County,
again.
Lorman, Mississippi, by Alcorn State
Lorman.
University.
Okay, okay. So you come out of college town. So how'd you end up in Ocean Springs? Let's get to that part.
Ooh, we had a whole lot of places I was at before I even got to Ocean Springs. But
Okay.
Ocean Springs was the third time I've lived on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Lorman is in between Natchez and Vicksburg, so it's kind of central Mississippi, west
Right.
central, whereas Ocean Springs is in the south. I was stationed in the military at Keesler the first time I lived on the coast. The second time I worked for NASA at Stennis Air Force Center, Space Center. And then the third time I just knew I needed to get out of Mississippi. Well, out of my mom's house because that's where I was staying and away from the town I was from. And I wanted to be by water, so Ocean Springs is right there on the beach, so that's why I moved there.
Okay. And so you were in the Air Force, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And so give us a little background about what coming out of high school you went into the Air Force or you went to college prior to what was the transition coming out of high school
Um,
going into the military?
Coming out of high school, I graduated pregnant, so I couldn't
Okay.
do anything but I had my baby in August right after I graduated. So I was working two jobs and I started going to school at night. I ended up moving I was living in Mobile, Alabama at the time, and I ended up moving back home to Lorman and going to Alcorn for a couple of semesters. And I ain't gonna lie, I was on the dean's list and I wasn't even going to class half the time, and I don't even know why.
Okay.
Anybody else probably would have took that opportunity, like, hey, I'm on the dean's list passing in college. All I knew is I had a 2-year-old child and I smoked a lot of weed and I braided a lot of people hair and they paid me with grades sometimes. Some paid me with weed. Sometimes I'm like, you know
That's
what?
brilliant.
This is not what I want for my child. She should not see her mom living with her parents, smoking weed all the time and think that that's the way to get by. So I was like, I got high one day, like real high in class, and I couldn't write the word THE. And when I
Come
did
on.
that, I was like, the word
It's
THE. I wrote it upside down. I wrote it backwards. And I'm like, I got to do better with my life. And I got in my car and I drove all the way to Jackson, Mississippi, which is an hour and a half from my mama's house. And I walked into the mall and all 4 military recruiters right there. And I walked in there high as hell and said, who got the shortest basic training? And the Air Force said, we do 6 weeks. That's how I joined the
that's how
military.
you made your decision.
That's how I made my decision. And I went to
Okay.
the Air Force. I did 4 years. I got out before I got put out because I realized that I don't like taking orders from people just because without a reason, you know. So I did
How
four
long did you serve?
years.
I mean, I get the not taking orders part, but you joined the military, so you should have known you was gonna take some damn orders. Now, come on, Nikki.
I know it. I just, it was I can understand if you're giving me orders and it makes sense, but you twiddling your thumbs knowing you outrank me and tell me to get up and take out your trash just because you can is where I have to draw the line. I'm like, hey, I'm a grown ass woman. You know what? I
Okay.
joined when I was 22 and most of my superiors were like 18, 19, 20 because they came in right after high school. And I'm looking at them like, I got kids. You ain't talking to
Mm,
me like this. So I was like,
yeah.
let me get out before I get put out. But it was the best decision I ever made because I did get injured in the military. Now I get paid 100% disability and I never have to work again for those 4 years. So
Okay. All right. So you did 4. You
I
did
did
4.
4.
Okay. Honorable discharge, obviously, because you got your medical discharge. Okay. Congratulations. And we
Honorable
just had what,
discharge, I
veterans
just got disabled benefits. I wasn't
disabled
medically
benefits.
discharged.
Oh, okay. That's even better. All right. So
Years.
we just had Veterans Day. Yeah. And thank you for your service. Let me just get that out the way. Although your ass ain't want to be in there. You know what I mean? You ain't want to take no commands, you ain't want to take no constructive criticism. But it's all good. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know
Did you
what?
ever go overseas?
I did. In the four
Okay.
years I was in the Air Force, I was at 3 different stations. My first
Okay.
station was at Keesler. My second, I was in Korea. And my third, I was at Bowling Air Force Base in DC. So I
Okay.
traveled a lot. You know what I'm saying? I got
Good.
to see a lot in my 4 years, but it was also an awakening time, me trying to grow up too, and just a lot of stuff. It was a good decision. And when people tell me thank me for my service, I always say thank you for paying taxes because I get a check on the first. Because I don't
Yes,
know what
you
else I'm
did.
supposed to say. Like I ain't do nothing. I don't
Right.
know if you saw my little TikTok I made the other day. I was like, when people thank me for my service, the only thing that goes on in my head is me partying and drinking, going, "Don't stop!" I'm like, oh, my bad. That's not the services you thanking me
So
for, is it?
let's talk about that because you said you were TDY in Korea. Which part of Korea?
Kunsan Air Force
Seoul?
Base.
Ulsan?
Kunsan.
Kunsan. Okay.
Yeah,
So now
it's
tell
about
me
2 hours from Seoul.
So tell me about that experience because Korea is a beautiful country.
It is. It smells the whole highly hell because they
True.
don't have sewage systems. They have what you call benjo ditches, and those are
Hmm.
basically shit ditches. That's where
Right.
their sewer runs through the cities, and it smells
Hmm.
all the time. But I loved Korea. I mean, I learned Korean. Um, and I love the food and I love the shopping, bro. When I went over there, throwback jerseys was in, the Mitchell and
Right.
Ness was with the $2,500, $3,000 price tags. I was getting them
Yeah.
for $20 in Korea, selling them back
Come
home,
on.
selling them back
Yes,
home, and it was
indeed.
original. The Louis
Right.
Vuitton purses. Oh my god. I want to just go back to Korea just to go shopping because I had learned the language and I had got good with Miss Kim, all the Miss Kims around there. So when they had the
Hmm.
good stuff, they take me to the back for the good stuff. And I'm like, no, 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 you deserve good stuff. I'm like, come
They just
some
knew. They just.
God,
They just knew. They just knew your ass was in the military and had that money.
I don't know if that was it or if it was the short haircut and they thought maybe I could get them a visa. Mm.
Yes.
I was like one of the only women that went to the barber shop over there. And
Uh-huh.
it's crazy because back then I was in Korea in 2000 and from 2003 to 2004. And
Okay.
I could get a haircut, a manicure, a facial, a massage for $10
Right.
without the happy ending. I didn't get no happy ending, but I know for
Man,
15.
stop lying. Stop lying. You knew you had one of
Let
them
me let me
Gucci's over there giving you the happy ending.
let
Stop.
me tell you something. One thing I don't do is lie on my sexuality. We living in 2024. If I ate coochie, ain't nothing for me to be ashamed of. It's just
It didn't have to be no female. They got male masseuses and all that kind of stuff over there.
all of the barbers in Korea were females. There was
Okay.
not one male barber. All of them were
Okay.
females.
Okay. All right.
They were all
So
females.
so let's talk about you getting out of the military. What was the next step once you finished up your service? What was the next move? Because you said you got pregnant coming out of high school. Well,
Yeah,
I shouldn't even speed bump over that because people gonna want to know how the hell that happened. Well, we know how that happened. You was doing some freaky shit in high school. You know what I'm saying? And then that led to you having baby.
that's
But
usually how babies are made.
yeah, that's really how they made. So we don't have to jump into that, but we can, talk about the fact that you was, being kind of promiscuous at a very early age. But I don't want to sit there and jump into that because I want to get into, you know,
First of all,
um,
I graduated when I was 18. So I was turning
you,
19 that year.
what you trying to
And
say? That's still young.
I know that's young, but I also
Uh-huh.
already had a job and everything, and I still
Right.
graduated with honors. So I
Okay,
mean,
so we got the fact that you smart as hell. We got that.
the
You got
only
so
thing
much
I
stuff
missed
going
up was
on.
my softball scholarship. They didn't want my 2-for-1
Uh,
package deal, so I did
oh,
lose
they didn't.
that.
Okay, so they
I had
wasn't
a
gonna take you.
scholarship to Howard University to play softball. Um,
Nice, nice.
but I waited 2 years. My daughter was 2 when I joined the military. So as soon as I got to Korea, who Lord, I met this guy, and his we had co-ed dorms, and his room was right across from me, and he harassed me until the day I married him. So he became my first husband. He was a black guy.
Okay.
Um, he was younger than me. That's why I'm a retired cougar. He was 19 and I was 24. But he had lied to me about his age, and I didn't find out about his age until later after we had already caught feelings. Even though I wanted to kill him after I found out his age, but
Right.
it wasn't nothing I could
But he
do.
was in the military also, right?
Yeah, he was in the military also.
Yeah.
He's my first husband and my son's father. So
And
we were,
you said he was African American.
yeah, we were.
Okay, so how was that being in an interracial relationship?
What do you mean? I'm black.
Oh, damn. Let me my bad. Oh, you know what? I see it now. I see I see.
You're an ass, bruh. I mean, now
What?
sometimes, depending on where I'm performing at around Texas, I do identify
Right.
myself as a white woman named Nicole that spell it with a CH. I
With a
do
CH.
that.
Yes, indeed.
That's why
Yes,
my hair
indeed.
blonde.
But
I,
that's gonna bring me into your business name. Cause see, I'm trying to figure out, is it DeAsia or is it Deja Entertainment and Bugetto? How do you pronounce it?
it's Bugetto.
Uh-huh.
Bugetto is like a brand.
Okay.
That's just I call it when you still shop at City Trends, but you got a Louis Vuitton attitude. That's Bugetto. Um,
Okay.
like I ain't too good to shop at City Trends, but I'm gonna dress it up, and you ain't gonna know where it came from. I might even buy some paint to paint the bottom of my shoes red, so you think I paid a lot of money for it. But I'm gonna make it look good regardless of how much I paid for it. That's Bugetto.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the other one is pronounced DeAsia.
DeAsia. D
D
hyphen AJA.
D apostrophe AJAA. And that
Okay.
name comes from, and if you probably never hardly ever hear me say this again. My first name starts with a D. My first name is spelled D apostrophe A. And that's as far as I'm gonna go. Nikki is not my real name. And some of my family
Mhm.
members think that Nikki is my real name. But my first name starts with D apostrophe A. So my daughter's name is Akila. My son's
Okay.
name is Javion. My granddaughter's name is Adea. And my grandson's name is Ashe. So D apostrophe AJAA spells D Asia Entertainment. It's a legacy because it's my name, my kids, and my grandkids' name all in one.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, and that's pretty ingenious and unique in its own right. Excuse me. So, how did you get into comedy, Nikki? Because you're smart, intellectual, got a lot of things going on for yourself. You're in the military, had a kid already, so that means that you got to be making some kind of money. You got to pay bills. You got to feed the kids. Um, what would take you from military? Is that me on my end or is that your end?
That's me.
Okay, that's cool. What would take you into going into comedy? I'm trying to figure out how you jumped off into the comedy lane with so much other stuff that you got going on. Because you have a dynamic personality. You can act. You can do so many different things. You know what I mean? And first, before you answer that question, what were you doing in the military? What was your job description in the military? Is that
Civil
Brandon?
engineer.
Civil engineer. Okay, so you well versed in architecture, engineering, and pulling things together and doing it the right way. So how do you go from that into comedy?
All right, I'm gonna try to. It's a lot of information. I don't know how much time we got, but
We got
it's
time. We got
it.
time. Come on now.
All
We got
right,
time.
it's a lot. So
I
let me
want the
see how
people to know you.
I'm gonna see how far I'm gonna go back.
Mhm.
Let's start at when I joined the military. When I got out, my
Okay.
first husband was very abusive to me. He was a
Mhm.
narcissist. Okay,
Mhm.
so I got out of the military and I stayed in
Abusive
there
mentally or abusive physically?
both.
Wow.
At that
Wow.
time, I didn't know what a narcissist was, and
Okay.
now I am the narcissist whisperer. I
Okay.
fucks with a narcissist so bad that they would want to hang themselves. Like I
Mm.
got that repellent now. But when after I got out of the military and I moved back home, um, I'm gonna say this: I wasn't always a good person. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of dirt, especially the men, because I didn't care. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna say I ain't did my share of lying and cheating. I ain't never stole nothing from nobody, even though I've always been
Mhm.
accused of it.
Mhm.
Um, I
But
knew
they
I
say
had
if you
some.
lie, you steal, you cheat, you kill. You know
But
that.
one thing about me is that the way I was is the way I was, and who I am now is who I am now. And I have no
Okay.
problem admitting or taking accountability for anything that I did in my past because who what the fuck you gonna do about it?
Right.
So that's
Right.
how I live my life now. But anyways, when I came back home, I ended up meeting another guy, getting married. This is my second husband now. I got a job working at the power company back home in Lorman, Mississippi. I was the first woman engineer to ever work there.
Okay.
Um, Working there for about well, the first, right before I started working, my daddy died. And I got married the month after my dad died. And I'm not going to lie, I was trying to fill a void because I was a daddy's girl, you know? So I got married again. I learned to love my husband, but we went through some ups and downs and stuff like that. I ended up getting cancer 2 times. Okay. I got diagnosed for breast cancer right after I flipped the four-wheeler at work and lost my job. I got hurt, lost my job. My husband ended up I ended up having to put him out, move back, and he took my house from me, even though I was paying all the bills. I moved in with my mom again, and here I am sitting on the couch, diagnosed with cancer for the second time. I have zero money. My kids are starting to not even respect me anymore because I can't do nothing for them. I'm fighting for my disability. I keep getting denied disability from the government. Um, I didn't know about the benefits of my veterans disability because I didn't have that at that time. You know, I didn't think that I was able to get it. You know, nobody ever educated me on it. So I had got down to a real deep depressing part in my life where I couldn't stop crying. You know, I'm feeling like a failure as a person, a parent. So I remember driving to the casino in Vicksburg and I took a bottle of Jack Daniels honey liquor and a 9 millimeter to a hotel room. And I said, you know what? I don't deserve to be on this earth. And I drank that damn near that whole bottle. And I started going on Facebook and I had a homeboy that hit me from the coast that was a comedian. And we went to Alcorn together back in 2000. So he was talking to me and he just started laughing. And I'm venting to him about what I'm going through. And he's laughing and he's like, man, I ain't trying to laugh at you. He said, but it's just the way you telling it. It's coming out funny. I'm like, well, the way you laughing coming out like I want to punch you in the throat right now. Like, cause he don't know that I got a gun here about to take my life. So he was
Right.
like, instead of taking all that hurt and pain and blaming yourself, he said, why don't you try to put it on stage and do it? And I was
Mm.
like, what you mean? He said, try comedy. He said, I think you'll be good. He said, I know you're not ashamed or shy because you do a lot. You gonna do anything. I said, you damn right I will. Damn almost anything. Cause I've never been scared to try anything new. So he said, I tell you what, I'm gonna put you on my show. And at the time, this was on in Gulfport, and I lived 3.5 hours from Gulfport. So it gave me something to look forward to, even though I had all this bad news and stuff. So here I am thinking about what I'm gonna talk about. What I'm gonna talk about. I wrote down this whole thing about what I'm gonna talk about, and I practiced it on my cousins, and they were looking at me like, that's not funny. I'm like, okay. So I go back to the drawing board. Then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna even write nothing. He told me to just vent, and I'm a vent. So when I got there, I drove to Biloxi. He was paying me $50 to do the show. And when I got up there, I saw everybody with a piece of paper. And I was like, am I supposed to have a piece of paper? And he was like, you know what you're going to say? I said, not really. He said, well, you better be ready because it's a brutal crowd out there. He said, we also got Bruh Man from the fifth floor in the audience. I said, oh, so this the kind of pressure you're going to put on me. He said, hey, it's now or never. So
The first time out.
first time I said, how much time? He
Mm-hmm.
said, however much time you feel like you got. I got up there and I talked for 27 minutes straight and I got a standing ovation. And Bruh Man walked up to me and he's like, how long you been doing comedy? I'm like, this is my first time ever. He said, who helped you write your jokes? I said, I ain't even write no jokes. I just talked. And he was like, you got to be lying to me,
Mm-hmm.
And the next show I was booked on was with Michael Blackson and DC Young Fly at the Coliseum in Mississippi. I was the only female on there, and I was the feature. My very second show, my whole career. So I'm just like, maybe this is what I'm meant to do. That's why I have a tattooed on my arm. It says, comedy was never my dream. It's my purpose. Because
It's
I
your
never knew I
purpose,
was going
right?
to be a comedian. It's just where it put me. And I've been going hard full time in comedy ever since December the 16th, 2017.
Okay.
2016.
Now let's put a pin in that right quick. Because we're not gonna speed bump past something that you said. Jack Daniels with the honey and the 9 millimeter. A lot
Yep.
of people are dealing with mental illness. A lot of people are dealing with depression. A lot of people are dealing with just life in general. And there are many of us who are in your position that don't make it through. They actually go through with it. So give us the walk me through um, the why and what led up to it. And of course, I'm happy that the decision that you made to still be here. But give me some background about the depressed state of mind that you were in that would lead you to that and wanting to make the decision to go to the casino, sit in the hotel room, and possibly thinking about taking your own life.
Think about your whole life. You've been told this is how it's supposed to go. You grow up, you go to school, you go to college, you get an education, to get a good job. And that's what you're supposed to do. Imagine doing that and everything gets taken away from you and it wasn't even your fault. Now you have nothing to fall back on. Imagine that. Imagine going to school, going to military. Your whole goal in your life was to be so financially independent that you can come back and take care of those who needed your help. And you did everything right. That's why I tell a lot of people, yes, I have a degree. I have a master's degree, but I'm a comedian. So do I believe you should go to school? I don't know. Your purpose and calling might be different. I make a joke out of it all the time. I'm like, you know what? God made me go through school and actually pay my student loans back just to tell me, bitch, you funny. And I'd be like, God's so petty for that. But without those experiences, I won't have these stories to tell. So
What pulled you through, Nikki? What pulled you through?
what pulled
Outside of your friend calling and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna put you on this show," and then you had a sense of purpose, but there had to be something, and you just tapped on it just a minute ago because God works in mysterious ways, and petty or not, still works in mysterious ways. But I
right?
need to know what pulled Nikki Coleman through.
Because I know I always had a story to tell. I
Okay.
always people was like, you always want attention. I've been getting attention since the day I was born, from having very long hair to these blue eyes to being a beautiful little girl. My dad drag race motorcycles. I rode motorcycles. So I always got attention, but I never had my own name or my own voice. I was either Prince's daughter, Fido daughter, Drake's sister, Reggie's sister, Kiki mama. you know. And when I wanted to say something, everybody thought I was complaining, so I never had a voice. I also have it tattooed on my chest right here. It said, "It took me quite a long time to develop a voice, and now that I have one, I will not be silenced." And then I started putting myself in a position, knowing that I'm a strong person, and there's somebody out there that's struggling just like me. So I want to take my message out there and give it to everybody else, not lying about it, don't care about it no more. I did it because somebody else I could save, you know. So
Correct.
that's the whole reason
Correct.
why I call myself the minister of laughter. I reach those people that say dick and pussy and curse a lot,
Mhm.
but they hear the
Right.
message. So,
Okay.
you know, I just heard something in me say, this is what you're supposed to do. Now I had absolutely nothing to look forward to before he called me. You know, I'm sitting here like, I got to go back and face my kids and tell them I can't afford nothing for Christmas because this was around Christmas time. You
Right.
know, I'm like, I got to tell them again another year that I can't provide for them. I got to go. I slept on the couch in my mama's house for 7 years to let my kids sleep in the bedroom comfortably. You know, I'm like, I went to school and I worked hard. I went to the military to ensure that I would never be in this position. Yet here I am.
So, second marriage, first marriage, abusive narcissist. You come out of that, obviously not unscathed, you know what I'm saying? Mental trauma, PTSD. You didn't get PTSD from going overseas and fighting. You got PTSD from being in a home where you were getting mentally abused, physically abused. You come out of that, you get into a second marriage, right? How did that work out? What was the transition from first marriage to second marriage? Because you did get married early on too.
Yes, I got married at 24. The next time I got married, I was 32. I was 32.
32. Okay.
And he was 28. Here we go.
Yeah,
I don't know
you like them young
why.
boys. You like them young boys.
I gotta get them before they. Uh-oh, you gotta get them before they fuck up their credit. That's my job. No, that's a joke. Uh,
I understand. He's running game. I got it. No problem.
no, usually I'm the one who helped start their credit off.
Okay.
Anyways, he 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 was basically my soulmate in a way, and
Mm.
I wasn't perfect in that marriage, and he wasn't perfect in that marriage, and we just it was some things that are only speculations now that I'd rather not say online because I don't want to get sued. But we just went our separate ways, you know,
Okay. Okay. So
and
it just didn't work. It did, at the
that
end of the
didn't
day, it
work.
just didn't work.
Mm.
Right. Right. So okay. Marriages in shambles to a
If you
degree
want to hear
because
about my third marriage, you're gonna have to buy my book.
yeah, we'll get them about the book. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? 20 something, 30 something, two marriages. How many kids?
Two kids, but me and my
Two
second
kids.
husband didn't have any kids. My
Okay, you
daughter,
understand.
her father, we never got married.
Okay, okay. That was the
That's my first.
hometown. That's the
No,
hometown boyfriend,
no, that was in Alabama. My
Alabama.
high
Okay,
school boyfriend.
high school boyfriend. That's what I meant to say. Is that Parmesan, Hennessy? What you drinking on? What you sipping on?
100% pure apple juice.
Gotcha, gotcha. Good one. All
I
right.
it is. I have high cholesterol, so I gotta
Uh-huh.
cut down on the alcohol and everything. I can't eat nothing. It's
Well,
just
I believe you when you say that because when you were here in Meridian for the comedy showcase when you came up and performed up here, you didn't drink anything. You weren't drinking then. You know
not
what
a
I'm saying?
big drinker, especially
Yeah,
when I know I
yeah,
have a lot to do. You know, I had a lot of traveling to do when I came to
yeah.
Meridian. I had to leave that morning and go to
And you had another
Louisiana.
show right there back behind it. Yeah,
Yeah, that was six
yeah,
hours away, and at 8 o'clock the
right.
next morning. So I had to, be mindful of that because normally I'm traveling alone.
Hmm.
So don't have it like
Okay.
that yet. I'm trying to get there.
All right, let's talk about your acting. Tell me about this Kill Tony situation where you were featured, and you actually kind of had a star role in the movie. Tell me about Kill Tony.
Kill Tony is not a movie. Kill Tony is the world's largest comedy podcast by Tony, that's hosted
Comedy
by Tony
podcast. Right.
Hinchcliffe. I was
Okay.
just That's a show. I was on that show, at the
Mhm.
HEB Center. The movie that I was in that you're referring to is called The First,
The first.
DAFIRST.
Yeah.
It's on
Okay.
Tubi, and it was shot in Greenwood, Mississippi,
Okay.
by Malcolm
And how did
Jordan.
that? And how did you land that role on the first?
Whew, I can't even remember. I know I've done shows all around. So in my 8 years of comedy, I've done 32 states. So probably
Hmm.
when I performed in Memphis or something like that, it was an
Yeah.
all comedic cast, and like comedians, rappers, singers, Instagrammers, IG models, stuff like that. He featured all of Mississippi and Memphis people in it. So
Okay. Okay. So let me get this right since I fucked that up. Kill Tony is a podcast showcase that you were part of, and the first is the movie that you were featured in. Correct? Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff.
now the
And you
movie
can
that I
find
have
the first
on,
on Tubi still currently. It's still out there right now. People can go catch the
yes,
movie. Okay.
DAFIRST, the first.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, and so why why comedy though? Why comedy? I mean, you have so much potential to do so many. I mean, and people ask the question. I don't know if it's therapy or if it's just a way to just release. But why comedy? What moves Nikki Coleman into that comedy lane?
You know, me venting, trying to vent to my family and friends over the years,
Hmm.
so much stuff happens to me. I'm telling you, every day, all day, constantly, that I start to tell people what's happening to me, because sometimes I would think I was crazy, and they started to get
Hmm.
to the point to where they said, "Oh, you lying." Now I became lying ass Nikki, who always had an imagination to make up some shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been
Right.
like that ever since I was a child. So with
Hmm.
comedy, I ain't have to talk to my family or friends. Now I talk to people on the stage, and I don't care if they believe me or not, because one, I'm getting
Right.
paid. Two, I'm getting it off my chest.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So,
Okay, so your comedy is your platform to release. That's a good release mechanism, a
right.
good opportunity for you to just tell your truth and just be free.
Be for I've never written a joke. I've
Hmm.
just gone now. People be like, but you be having sets and stuff like your energy.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
might be, I might have some jokes talking about old women peeing on themselves when they cough and laugh and sneeze too hard in a room
Hmm.
full of college boys. They don't care about that. They don't know about that. So now everything
Well,
I'm writing,
they do at the end of the joke when your old man sitting there say he want to sit there and do something special to you and you say and smell like asparagus down there. Yeah, I remember that joke. That now, you supposed to tell that boy. Hold on a second now. You know
I
what I'm saying?
did
You
tell
sitting
him.
there,
I didn't know he was gonna do that. But anyways, um, I could have just let it happen, you know.
right?
But anyways,
Oh man, but I,
I
I remember that. That was funny as hell to me when I heard that joke. When I went back and watched the film, I was like, man, Nikki crazy as hell.
speaking of that joke, I told that joke this past couple of weeks ago. I had to do I had to do a an event for a sorority, and I
Okay.
asked them what kind of comedy they wanted, right? And I gave them the choice of mild, medium, adult, or
Uh-huh.
full blown grown comedy. And it's like, we grown, full blown grown comedy. So
Yeah,
I get on stage and
I
I
know
start
they ass
telling
wasn't
my
ready
joke
for that.
about
I
fuck
know they
them
wasn't ready for that
kids.
shit.
Right. I'm like, fuck them kids.
Yeah.
I don't care, fuck them kids, and shit, the kids get on your goddamn nerves. After I get off stage, she's like, need you to tone it down for the clergy people in the audience. How about the
You
clergy
told
person?
me what? How would Tony down? You just told me to give me a full blown, give me some grown man, some grown woman shit.
Hold on now. Now, my energy never lies. Now, first of all, this man ain't the one who complained, but I had one of them buying all
Uh
my
huh.
drinks all night long and asked me if I needed a hotel room for the night. And then
Stop.
the irony. And then the second part of the person that I know who had a complaint about my comedy, because when I tried to speak with her later on at night, it was just this cold conversation. I'm like, what did I do to you? Oh, you think I'm secular, but you was out there stepping to shake that monkey by Too Short. Pass up.
Right.
I'm
Right.
just trying to say,
Come on, let's keep it real
shit,
now.
I'm
Let's
not
keep it
even,
real.
shake that monkey. I'm like, oh, but it's my jokes that's the problem. I'm like,
No.
bruh. Don't
Yes,
hire me no more.
indeed.
I'm okay if you don't. I'm okay if you don't. You know,
Okay.
like
Now, now look, that gave me a perfect segue into what I'm about to bring up.
I dropped something. I'm
Um,
coming back.
Not yeah, well, don't drop everything now, because it looked like the mic was about to fall on you and everything. You good?
I got my cell phone right there too.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Um, Speaking of Meridian, and I'm gonna bring this up because only you can tell this story because it happened to you. And you did a whole anthology. I mean, you did part one, part two, and part three. You met OG, triple OG, Melvin Farmer. And please tell the audience, please tell our guests, what was that experience like when you came to Meridian, Mississippi, and walked away with an instant manager, an instant boyfriend, an instant got. Please tell me what happened, cause you called me cussing me out, saying, "Nigga, get this
Man, cause
man."
all I asked you for was a warning, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you going like? First of all, I got to put this disclaimer out. Like, I think this is why people don't believe the stories that I tell, because how many people do you know that can walk up to you and say, "Yo, I was stalked by the man who invented the crip walk." Like, I can't get a regular Domino's pizza stalker. Why can't Ali at the gas station stalk me and I can get some free gas? No, 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 no. Nikki Coleman, has to get stalked by the man who invented the crip walk. And I'm just
Yes,
like,
indeed.
what the fuck, bro? I called it stalking and crip walking with no laces on, okay? This man,
Oh man.
this man has stories. All right, y'all. So I went down to do this show for Mr. Big G right here, the Queen City Comedy Jam in Meridian, Mississippi. I'm gonna put the whole name out there, okay?
Yes,
I'm
please do,
going down
please
there
do.
not knowing nobody. Didn't know nobody. When I pulled up, they didn't have my hotel room ready, but I did see this older man standing out there in the parking lot. He had on this Coogee sweatsuit, just zipped up to the neck with these shoes and no laces on. And the only thing I thought about is who got that granddaddy out here about to pass out in this Mississippi heat.
In this heat.
And they gonna need an ambulance for Paw Paw and where his laces at. And here I am thinking, you know what? Maybe he an old man, his feet hurt, the laces drying somewhere. I don't know. I go up to my room. I come back down later. That's like, have you met everybody? No, I haven't. They go out here and who did the man with no laces turn out to be? Melvin Farmer. And I'm like, who is Melvin Farmer? I'm Googling his ass. I'm like, oh, that's who Melvin Farmer is. He invented the crip walk. He an OG. I'm cool. I'm thinking he cool because he with child and everything. You know, he keep telling me about opportunities. Me, I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? He gets my number
Uh-huh.
out the group chat after the show and starts calling me back to back to back, talking about the homeless hoe and the penniless pimp.
The homeless hoe and the penniless pimp. Oh my God.
And some kind of contract that he was gonna have me sign. And I'm
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
What
How
are
we
you
got from you seeing
talking
me at the
about?
show to now you manage me?
Right. Then he would say some stuff like, yeah, and you gonna do this. And I'm like, I'm gonna do what? No, I ain't talking to you. Bruh, it's only me and you on the phone. Who you talking to? Man, it was the weirdest shit ever. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, he was
Oh
calling me, and
man.
I'm like, I ain't. At first, I was entertaining it because I was on the highway driving by myself, so I'm just listening because I'm
Right.
awake, just leaving Meridian. But it started to get real weird. Then he posted this thing about me with a threatening message to somebody. I don't know if he was threatening them and uplifting me. I don't know what it was. It's
It
confused
was
me.
just real
I just knew that
confusing. Real
it
confusing. Yeah.
made me look gang affiliated. So I came back with
Right.
the stalking and the crip walking story to try to cover that because I don't need nobody thinking that I'm gang related. Finna kill
Right.
something. I'm like, this got to be the craziest shit ever. But I told my homegirl, I was like, girl, how in the world could you ever think that a man with no shoelaces, that you have to pay attention? You have to be an overthinker. It's okay to be an
Hmm.
overthinker because with no shoelaces, when I saw them and figured out he was Melvin Farmer, that's when my mind went to three places. Like, he either ain't got no shoelaces because they don't trust him with none.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He don't
Uh-huh.
have no shoelaces because this was the style before he went in, and he
Uh-uh.
think it's still
Uh-uh.
style. Oh, he ain't got no shoelaces because he on suicide watch. I'm telling y'all,
One or the other,
I
one of the
said
three.
right there, I didn't even have to know he was who he was. All I had to know
Mm-hmm.
was this man don't wear no laces. And when I go to all his pictures, he ain't got no laces in his shoes and none of them. That's a red flag. I don't care if you got on the presidential Rolex. I don't care if you got 50,000 that you carry around with you. It's something about you not having no shoelaces that you would never be able to be close to me. What's wrong with you?
And you know that
People don't
I'm, I'm
understand.
I'm
Shoes.
laughing because the whole thing, the whole TikTok thing that you did, it went viral. You know what I'm saying? You got some hell of attention behind it. I hate that you had to go through that because Melvin is a good friend of mine, and he means well. But at the same time, I hated that you had to go through that. But there was some of the funniest shit when you called me and told me. I couldn't laugh about it at the time because you were serious as hell. You know,
Hell yeah, and that's what I've been dealing with my whole life, trying to tell somebody what's serious, and y'all niggas over there laughing at me and shit. Shit ain't funny to me, bruh. I just be forced to laugh at it. Like this shit
yes,
ain't funny.
indeed. But but I tell you what, if you tell that joke on stage somewhere, once you fine tune that motherfucker, I'm telling you, people that know Melvin and people that know your situation, it's gonna be a gut buster because that's some funny shit,
Hey,
Nikki.
bruh, I got booked for the Laugh Factory Chocolate Sundays in California, July 2nd, 2028. So maybe by that time, I had that joke fine tuned.
Ain't that
Like, did they
something?
really say 2028? I might be running for president around that time. I don't know what I got going on.
Well,
How
look,
y'all know
you
y'all
miss
gonna be open?
right in 2028. That's a bullshit book in there. Y'all bullshitting me. But
Come on, we got
I'm gonna
5 year
I'm gonna
waiting
sign this
list.
contract. Send me my upfront. Send me my upfront.
A
But
5 year waiting list.
yes, indeed. Look, you a Mississippi girl. You from Mississippi, and I want to see if you really from Mississippi, right? Because
Let's see.
there's certain things about Mississippi born and raised people that's kind of instilled when you're raised when you grow up here. So I'm gonna ask you 3 questions right quick. What is the Mississippi state bird?
Uh, I ain't from Mississippi.
No, 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 no,
Is it
no.
the? It's not a dove, is it? No.
No, it's not a dove.
What
I'm gonna
is
let you
it?
think. It's a mockingbird.
Oh,
To
okay.
Kill a Mockingbird. Never mind, never mind. But I'm
You
not saying it came from that story, but it's a Mississippi tale, the whole nine. But it's a
okay?
mockingbird. All right. What is this is an easy one? What is the Mississippi flower?
A magnolia flower.
A magnolia. Ding, 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 ding. And last but not least, what is the Mississippi tree? That's kind of a
Magnolia
trick
tree.
question. All right, then. You smart. You sharp. You sharp. You sharp. A lot of people wouldn't be able to get that
Now
because
I
a
just
lot of
got a
trees
brain
don't
full of
bear flowers.
useless information, bro. Like for real. You could probably ask me something off the fucking wall and I could tell you the answer. We were playing me and my white friends, right? My friends look like a We Are the World video. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A We Are the World video. Like in Mississippi, I ain't had these kind of friends because in Mississippi we got 3 races. That's black, white, and other. So
Hmm.
here I have a variety of friends. I've gone paddle boarding. Okay, that's the whitest shit
Okay.
I think you could ever do. Um,
Come on. Explain. Oh, wait, wait. You ain't gonna speed bump over that either. Paddleboarding. You mean like you got your helmet on, got your life vest on, and you out there forcing and fighting against the rapids
with an oar, just
with
like
an oar?
this.
Oh wow. Oh
I
wow.
sat on my butt the whole time. I did. So
Okay. I
I
mean,
did
was it
that.
fun? Was it talk to me? Was it interesting? I mean,
It
did
was
you
fun. The next time we're gonna do pedal boarding where we pedal because
okay.
I had rotator cuff surgery. That hurt.
So were you in a group doing it or you were in a single
Just
skiff by yourself?
I was on my own by myself and she was in her own. It was just me and my home girl. We went down
Okay.
to the place called Barton Creek. But back to my story before I forget what
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay.
Um, what was I talking about?
Uh
You asked me
which
about
one? The gripping part? Or we moved
we
on
was
past it?
past that. That's why I should have kept talking. because I
But
forget.
you pretty much covered it. You pretty much covered everything.
You had asked. I was gonna tell you about something else.
That's okay. We'll get back to it.
I was telling you my mind is full of useless information.
Useless
And my
information.
white
Okay.
friend, she had me playing categories, and I've never played categories before. And it's a game where you have to roll a dice, and a dice will roll on a letter, and then you have to name the things they're asking you for that, and you have to make it begin with that letter. Like the letter was I, and it's like things that scare you, things that wake you up at night, just different little clues, and you got to make up something that starts with the letter I. Like the shit I come up with, like when it
Hmm.
said I and it says things that scare you, my dumb ass put Islamic zombies, and I was like, let me make y'all. I said, let me make it clear that I would be afraid of any zombies, but Islamic and Indianian zombies are the ones that start with an I,
Just
you
making
know.
up some
And I'm
shit.
like,
Ain't
oh
that
my god, Islamic zombies. No offense to the Islamic people out there,
well,
but I would be afraid
just
of
making
black
up some
nigga
stuff.
zombies too.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just didn't start with an I.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nikki, your top three influences in comedy. Your top three influences in comedy.
Number one would be Marcus Combs. He is my mentor. He was my mentor. He was from Def Comedy Jam he's from Chicago, but he was based out of Atlanta. He passed a couple of years ago of a heart attack. You can look him up. He was my mentor. He made me the beast that I am. He made me stop being afraid of doing comedy. He took
Hmm.
me anytime he came to Mississippi, I was his opener. You know what I'm saying? He took me under his wing. He even flew me to Atlanta and made me bomb on purpose because after 3 years I had never bombed. And he was like, you need to feel that, you know. But he didn't tell me before he did it. He told me after I bombed because I was like, how you feel? I'm like, I think I need to go do basket weaving. I don't ever want to tell a joke again because it hurt. You know, he's like, hey, that's what I did that on purpose. Number two would be Dick Gregory. I got to see him perform in Jackson, Mississippi before he passed. I actually have a autographed copy of his last book that he wrote. And number three would be Red Fox because I like that Red Fox could do. I mean, I grew up with the old school comedy. He kind of reminded me of my daddy. My daddy
Okay.
had that old dad joke sense of humor that could make everybody pay attention, but at the end, he was talking about a bunch of bullshit. You know, that's why. And I
Yeah,
was a daddy's girl.
yeah, Red Fox was cold blooded. You know what I'm saying? Did you really get into any of the Richard Pryor or the Paul Mooney or anything like that?
Yeah, the Richard Pryor, the Paul Mooney, all of them. I also watched shit like Abbott and Costello because
Hilarious. Yeah,
my
that
family
was
were
sweet.
black, but you know, my
Hmm.
dad owned two construction companies, so we were able to see other parts of the world and do other things other kids weren't able to do. So he enjoyed all kinds of races because my grandmother was a mixed lady. So, gotta understand he sees both of it, um, so that was
So
my three influences.
okay, so we got Combs, Dick Gregory, and Fox. Now, present day, you see how the comedy, because comedy is big right now. Comedy is hot. Comedy, in all facets, is really making a move. And not just because of what Cat Williams has done on the podcast with Club Shay Shay. It was already moving, and you see a lot of internet sensations that are making some headway. Okay, how do you feel about the internet sensations that are coming out? Because you already told us your story in terms of how you were introduced into comedy. So you're not doing sketch comedy and skits and putting them out on social media and building a fan base that way. At least not on the earlier stages, because you're taking the traditional route. I would consider you're taking the traditional route and going into the rooms and standing up doing your 15, 20, 30 minutes and keeping it pushing. How do you make an adjustment, and how do you feel about that internet streaming lane that is actually catapulted into what we now see present day with the Country Waynes, the Bubba Dubs, the Ha Ha Davis, and folks of that ilk? Talk to me about that.
Of
And
course,
that's a
I'm
lot to wrap up.
no. And I'm trying to remember everything you said so I can answer everything. Um, I feel some kind of way, of course, because I've been doing this, like you said, the old fashioned way. I've been getting in
Yeah.
cars, driving. I done slept in my car, gotten
Hmm.
paid no money to do shows across the United States away from my house just to get myself known, make myself known. And here I
Right.
am in 8 years, and I'm still doing that same work, busting my ass that I did from day one. When somebody can get online and make one funny fucking video, and then they will make them into a comedian instead of taking the raw talent that you have out here. But I
Right.
would never hate on anybody because I know my purpose is a whole different purpose. God told me I
Hmm.
was gonna be one of the greatest female comedians that ever walked this earth, and I'm not gonna not trust him, even if I don't want to be or not. But as far as me transitioning into the social media thing, I don't, and I have all the time in the world. That's just not what my spirit is taking me right now. You
Right.
know, I
Right.
am guided by my spirit. I'm not a Christian. I'm not saying that I'm the most saved person or I got superpowers. But one thing my spirit has not done is led me down the wrong path. It's me ignoring my spirit that has led me down the wrong path. It led
Hmm.
me here to Texas. I ain't never been to Texas, didn't know nobody here when I moved here. And I have been going up further and further ever since I've moved here. You know,
Right.
so I'm gonna do me as far as when it comes to the social media. And when it's time, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be an old school stand-up comedian that's gonna talk my shit on stage. And I do know
Right.
that I'm gonna have to adjust to that. But I feel like when it's time for me to adjust for that, my creator is gonna send somebody to help me with that and keep me on a consistent basis. But right now, I'm gonna do me. I'm not,
Okay.
I appreciate everybody that has gotten opportunities that have blown up, you know what I'm saying, from being a social media comedian or whatever. Much respect. But at the end of the day, as long as we respect each other's hustle, it shouldn't be no shade thrown in the come up, you know. You get
Hmm.
yours the way you
Okay.
get yours. I get mine the way I get mine. Just remember my name because you'll hear it again, you know.
Right. So major up and major down.
Right.
Major up, your major up, and your major down. You know what I'm saying? What was the lowest of the low? And I'm talking about in the comedy space. We're not talking about the depressed space when you had the bottle and the nine. I'm talking about fast forwarded into what you got going on now. Major up and major down. Because I want the people to know that it ain't all just shits and giggles and everything ain't kumbaya. Everybody in the comedy world ain't your fucking friend. So give me the Nikki Coleman. Okay, this is where I can see the major ups in my life with this comedy game, and this was one of my major downs.
One of my major downs in this comedy game is no matter what I have gone through, I mean, my last marriage was a catastrophe. I was only married for 30 days before I had to commit my husband. Okay, that's how bad it was. And 3 days after that, after he beat me to break my rotator cuff and tear my labrum and everything, I had a show to do. That's the major down in comedy because no matter what you got going on, especially when you need the money and I've already taken a deposit and I can't afford to get that deposit back, I got to suck that shit up and still go on stage and make people laugh. People don't understand, a lot of comedians, we be hurting on the inside as you guys are laughing. When Martin said laugh at my pain, wasn't that Martin that said laugh at my pain? And I'm gonna tell you why I question that, because I have not watched another comedian do a stand-up routine since I started doing comedy. I do not. I don't watch comedy stand-ups on TV. I don't listen to the podcast. I I think I'm weird. I watch the same things every day, and I have been for the past 20 years. And I do that so even though nobody will probably believe me if I told them, I've never heard that joke before if I tell one similar. I don't know, for me, that I never heard your joke before. Sometimes great minds do think alike, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. And it's in the atmosphere, so it's coming from somewhere. That frequency is coming from somewhere. So the
But
major up.
some of these motherfuckers still just steal. Will steal your
Still,
shit.
yeah, they steal your shit.
So
Yeah,
I ain't worried
yeah.
about nobody stealing my stuff because, for one, like I said, I rarely remember. I don't even remember half the jokes I tell on stage. And if you stealing my joke, you can't tell it like me because this is an actual story this is something that happened to me.
Life experience,
That's
yeah.
what makes me. I don't talk about nothing made up.
Right.
If it ain't happened to me, I haven't experienced it, I didn't see it, somebody ain't tell me about it, I don't talk about it.
Hmm. So give me the major up. What's the major up? The high point.
The
Give
major
me a
up
high point.
is the major up is that I've gotten to be at the highest, one of the highest points in my career, and that it had to take me to come to Texas. When I produce shows here in Texas, I've had a bigger turnout here in Texas from people that know me, none than I ever had from people in my home state. Every time I
Mm.
produce a show in my home state, it was like pulling teeth. So my major up here is that I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of strangers because they see my true talent, and they have no reason to say, "Well, I don't just like Nikki because I know this about her, but she funny, but I ain't gonna support her because I don't like her because she light skinned." These people don't give a fuck if I'm a purple giraffe out here.
You funny because you're funny as hell.
As
Yeah.
long as I'm funny, that's all they
No, you're
care
funny.
about, and I'm okay with
Right.
that. And I
Okay. So
finally got
let's.
my own name, Nikki Coleman. People know me by
Right.
my.
Right. So let's talk about that because because you hit on something just now, and I need to talk about Mississippi and us growing Mississippi because you are an ambassador for Mississippi, whether you want to be or not, because you're from here. And when you're doing your comedy in Texas and around the world and everywhere that you go, it shines a very bright light on the great state of Mississippi. And I've always been a true ambassador of Mississippi myself. I love Mississippi. I love everything about Mississippi, but trying to carve out that career space here in Mississippi, whether it be comedy, even artists from singers, dancers, the whole nine yards. They have to leave. It seems like they have to leave in order for them to actually get some notoriety because it's hard to get that here in the state. Can you speak to that and why that is here in Mississippi?
It's not just in Mississippi. I'm hearing it from, like, do you know, like, and I gives no fucks when I say this. I have
Hmm.
had a male comedian from Texas come up to me and say, "How you just gonna come in here from another state? And I've been doing comedy here my whole life, and here you are on flyers at this club, at that club, at this club." You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they could call
Right.
me. I think you should give me some of those opportunities. I said, "Hold up, motherfucker. So you want me to say, you know what? I'm not gonna take this show. Give it to this man right here. First of all, you ain't funny to me. See, don't come to
Mhm.
me with shit like that because I tell you the truth. You're not funny to me. Maybe that's why maybe it has nothing to do with that you're not from the state. Maybe you're not funny to them. And I get that because of the simple fact that I'm not funny to a lot of the people in my hometown. You understand? I'm not funny to them. I'm that same little nerdy ass Nikki Coleman that used to be a crybaby that everybody used to push over. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That even if I was funny, they wouldn't even give me the time of day. And that's just where you from. Now, not everybody, because I have some big supporters from my hometown. It's not many. There's
Mhm.
some of them still there in a little 1,500 population town. To my nigga, what you doing these days?
Right.
You still at your mama house? I ain't lived at my mama house in 4 years.
Mhm.
you know but that's just your hometown, and I don't think it's just a Mississippi thing. Like I said, it goes everywhere. You have to be able to get away from your hometown, your home state, because when you're in that area you feel like you have to hold back and you can never give your full potential because you're trying not to ruin grandma reputation. You ain't trying to ruin your family name and stuff like that. I'm at the point in my life where I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a
Yeah.
whole nother state where people don't even know my family. And if my family
Right.
don't tell them that they're my family, then how would they know? You know what I'm saying? You have to get away so you can be your true self. And you'll never be your true self in your hometown unless you are just a true hometown person. You've already
Upcoming
had
and
to
aspiring. Yeah,
establish.
go ahead, close out. Yeah, already got it established. Upcoming comedians, upcoming artists. Um, Give me a word of advice to those wanting to enter into the comedy game.
My thing is, don't complain about opportunities that you're not getting. When you can't get your own, when you can't get an opportunity, create your own. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's what I did. You know, I could have said, "Oh, they're not hiring me now." I think it's very sexually biased in Mississippi when it comes to the comedy game because the men there will respect people from out of town before they respect the female comedian in the home state. I don't know if that's just Mississippi or if that's here, but I know that from being in Mississippi. But my encouraging words is just keep doing you. Don't let nobody tell you how to do your comedy. Don't nobody let nobody tell you what you should talk about. If you talk about the things that are in you and you get booed for them, know that that's not the role for you. Try basket weaving. I think nobody would care if you did a nice basket or not. So do you be yourself? I had so many people telling me, "Oh, you." My homegirl was telling me, "Oh, you need to talk about how you from Loma, Mississippi, and how you grew up in a trailer. That's what your main focus of your comedy should be on." And because she's a comedian, I'm like, "Yeah, and you're a comedian who's been doing this for 20 years and you still working a full-time job. I'm only 3 years in the game and I ain't worked not one day. So, tell me how I should hold a microphone or something. Tell me I'm not standing to the stage to the left and the, but don't tell me what to talk about." So I encourage you, be yourself, be real. And I'm still not there 100% to where I'm just not afraid to say everything I want to say because I feel like I'd be canceled real quick. But I'm gonna get
Mm.
there. So
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to cancel you when you already got your own thing going on. And this is where this I'm going to move into what I'm saying with that. You've already got your own broadcast network through YouTube with your YouTube channel. All your social medias are popping off. You got your own website. A lot of comedians don't have their own website, NikiColeman.com. And you get on the road. You get out there and go bust your ass and go get these jobs. And whether you're manager or whether you get on the phone making calls, linking up with comedy clubs and making the transition to make it work, to add everything up. So yeah, it's hard to cancel somebody that has what they call no quit in them. I don't see you ever quitting because you're dedicated and committed to what you're doing.
I know I have to be. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah,
I've been my own manager and booking agent for my entire career. Now I do have some
right,
people that have advised me on certain things, but one thing I can honestly say is that with my comedy career, ain't nobody give me nothing,
right,
nothing,
right.
nothing at all.
I thought Melvin Farmer was your manager. My bad. My
Oh, I'm
bad.
sorry. No lace crew. No, 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 no. Mm-mm.
Yes, indeed. But I do have to make a shout out though. I do have to give my man Cyrus a shout out because Cyrus connected us. You
Hell
remember
yeah,
that?
Cyrus down there in Mississippi.
Down there in Ocean Springs. That's right. Down there in
Yeah.
Ocean Springs.
I just
Cyrus
saw
connected
Cyrus
us.
a couple weeks ago. He's so
Good
crazy.
stuff. Yes, and I got to thank him for that, and I'm giving him a shout out on this platform right now, just because if it wasn't for Cyrus making that connection, you and I would have never met, and I would have
That's
never had
right.
an opportunity to bring you out for shows, for our past show, and for shows to come that we're planning in the future as well.
That's
Okay.
right. And I would have never gotten the Freeway Ricky connect and everything.
Right.
And
That's right. That's right.
oh
That's
man,
right.
you want to hear another funny story?
I do. I'll sit there and talk to you all day, nigga. Talk to me.
Oh
What you
my
got?
God. I don't think I
You
want
got
to say
something to do with you and Rick? Got something to do with you and Rick?
uh uh
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna tell you part of it on the air. It does have something to do with me and Rick. But I'm gonna tell you part of it on the air. So
Okay.
when I went to California, right?
Uh-huh.
They had messed up on my hotel room and I didn't have nowhere to stay until my flight the next morning. So I had called Echo
Echo.
and
Hmm.
told Echo I needed somewhere to stay. And he talked to
Hmm.
Freeway and they told me I can come over there.
Yeah.
So I ain't know this nigga live on 114 Christian.
On Figueroa, by the hose, on the hose stroll. You ain't know? You
Bro,
better stop.
I went down
And
that
it,
bitch and I done got a rental car now. My rental car is a 2024 BMW 430i convertible. I
come
pull
on
up in the
now.
neighborhood. I'm like, this car gonna be okay.
Hell no, they gonna be okay. And shit, you in the hood. People don't realize that.
It was July 2nd. So when we go
Oh man.
inside, all I hear outside was boom,
Nothing but
boom.
gush.
I'm over there like this
And there ain't no goddamn fireworks either. Shit.
Echo over there dying laughing at me, bro. I'm over here shaking. I'm like, bro, I got PTSD. You don't understand? I ain't never been. I swear I'm from Mississippi. When we hear gunshots, somebody gonna feed us tomorrow because that's a deer. Nigga, that's a wild
That's right.
hog that didn't kill.
That's right.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
indeed.
We hear multiple shots. We gonna hear the sheriff because he live right down the street going to their house.
Yes.
I don't hear nothing. He's like,
Nothing.
you know how Echo talk. Girl, it's the 2nd of July. That might be the 4th of July. So I look out the window, right? Because now I want to see the fireworks. Guess what this nigga say? Don't you go look out that window. I said,
Don't
why?
go look out
Look
that
out the
goddamn
window. He
window.
said, because
Shit.
it's a gunshot. You don't want to be no witness. I said, get me
That's
the
right.
fuck out of here, bruh.
Man, let me go sleep back at the airport. I'm taking this goddamn rental car and I'm gonna sleep at the airport.
I went to the airport 4 hours before my flight was supposed to leave. I was like, yeah, it's time for me to leave. But
That's
remind me,
hilarious.
put a pin in it. I'm gonna tell you part 2
The rest
on the
of the
phone.
story, yeah. Yes, indeed. Your book is gonna be classic.
But my crazy thing, my psychiatrist just retired on Monday. She has been
Okay.
my psychiatrist for 5 years.
Did you ask
She
her for all your
told
notes?
me she got all my notes. She said, make sure you request all of your notes. She said, because I want the first copy of your book. She
Right.
said, you are the most resilient, strongest. Like, why do you keep going? I'm like, I don't even know at this point. For one, I'm too empathetic. Like, I ain't never even with my kids because I don't like to see other people in physical pain. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me to hurt myself, I'm too much of a punk, bro. I don't want to hurt myself. It's gonna hurt.
Right. It's gonna
So
hurt. It's
I
gonna
can't
hurt.
do
It's
it.
gonna hurt.
I punk out. I punked out. That was one of the main things. I just could not do it. Because see,
Right.
knowing me, I'ma just graze the shit. And I'm gonna have to live
Now
like
you gotta
this
live
for
with
the rest
that
of
shit.
my motherfucking life, bro.
For the
It's,
rest of your
that's
life.
my luck.
That's your life.
That's my luck. I ain't gonna kill me.
Oh
No,
man.
no, no. That would be too easy.
Yes,
And I'm gonna
indeed. So
be
look.
my brain gonna be intact, but my face gonna be fucked up, man. I'm telling you,
Oh man.
it's gonna be
It's gonna be
bad.
something.
But I'm gonna
So
still
look,
be here.
Nikki, you still gonna be you though. You gonna be you. Look, tell the people how to get in contact with you. Let me get your social media. I don't know if everything's Nikki Coleman, the way that you have it. Is it comedian Nikki Coleman, or how do people get in contact
Website is
with
Nikki
Nikki Coleman?
Coleman, NIKI COLEMAN.com.
Okay,
Instagram is Nikki Coleman _ comedy. YouTube is Nikki Coleman comedy. Facebook is Nikki Coleman comedian.
good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look, man. We're gonna have to run this back. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been talking for an hour. You know what I mean? And you know the segments are usually just 15 minutes. We usually just do
For
15
real?
minutes. Shit, 15 minutes. We get in that thing and get on
You
up out
gotta
that
have
hoe.
a
You know?
set time for me. You gonna have to edit this
Oh
and
no, 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 no. I enjoy it. Look, as long as this thing allow me to go live, we going live and we having good conversation. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying everything that you're telling me because you're giving me some insight and some in-depth stuff about Nikki Coleman that I just didn't know about. You
a
see what I
lot of
mean?
people don't know about it. I mean, just
Yeah.
it's so much about me, and that's why I say I had to stop telling people because they be like, "Ain't no way." But if I would have told you that I got stalked by the man who invented the crip walk, and you didn't notice, if you wasn't around, would you believe me?
Hell no. I'll be like, you crazy. You
Exactly.
crazy. You crazy. You got your damn mind. You don't
That's
even know
why
me
I'm
on the
thinking I'm,
phone.
I'm gonna have me a podcast, and it's gonna be
Right.
full of people that I don't went through these crazy ass situations with to be here to help me tell these stories to be a witness. Like that's my whole podcast. Like you remember that time I was in a club and one of my butt pads fell out, and the dude picked it up and threw it to me. Tell him I ain't lying. Like for real, I need people to know that happened. I need people to know that that shit really happened.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it did. Not your butt pad. How you supposed to secure it with something, either some how it fall
Well,
out?
you 95 pounds wearing a 20-pound butt pad in a panty, a silicone butt pad you slide in a panty, and you wear a skirt
Okay.
up, and you sitting there just bouncing
Getting
it.
it
That
oh,
bitch bounced
oh
right out the panty, hit him on the foot.
Lord have mercy. Oh man, that's wild.
And that's true.
I can't
If
take it no
you
more.
you probably don't believe it, but I got a
No,
friend
I
I can
believe it. I
promise
believe you.
you
No,
right now.
when you speak it, I believe it. Cause like I said, you ain't got no reason to lie to me about nothing. And I done seen the shit you go through firsthand.
And if my mind is that creative to make up these stories, I have a book of these stories written down because I need to make them into Netflix stories. People will pay to
That's right.
see this
That's right.
shit, and they can be
So
called like stalking and crip walking.
you
You
need
know
to
what I'm
get on
saying?
that, Nikki. I'm telling you, you need to get on that. That's gonna start writing your stuff down, get your stuff copywritten and start producing that. Cause that is some classic shit.
Oh, I know. That's why I need sponsors. Anybody out there willing to be a sponsor for this creative mind? I'm too talented to be poor. I'm not poor. I'm
Yes,
blessed.
indeed.
But you know
You
what
are
I'm saying?
blessed. You are blessed, and you receiving disability, so you ain't a basket case, and you ain't looking for no handouts. You just ready to work.
Right, right. I'm just ready.
Yeah,
I'm living
yeah,
life. I have no responsibilities, no bills to pay. I'm just trying to
right.
save up to. I want $1 million in my account this time next year, and I'm not gonna stop until I get it. And I don't want nobody to give
That's
it to
right.
me. I'm gonna get it myself.
You gonna go get it. You go get it. You
So
gonna
this
go
time
get it.
next
That's
year,
what's
when you
up.
talk to me, you be like, "How's that million?" I mean, you mean the 20 million that I flipped that into real quick?
Right. Well,
This
we gonna
podcast
have another show.
from
We
my
gonna have
yacht.
another show before all that pop off. You know what I'm
It be,
saying? And so
and
yeah,
it be
we
coming
gonna
from my
work
yacht.
towards. As long as I can get a ticket to get on that damn thing.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, Nikki, look, man, we've had another great session of industry talk. It was it's actually a blessing to talk to you because really I could have had an opportunity where I never had a chance to meet you or talk to you if you would have taken your own life going through that phase of your life. But present day, you're phenomenal. You're a great personality. All the blessings in the world as you move forward throughout your career. And yes, we're gonna have some things coming up. You need to get with JB. You remember JB Braswell? He's rolling with
Yes.
Bubba Dub right now. Okay, we've got Trio about to kick off. We're about to get that room ready here in Meridian for comics. Every Thursday night, we're gonna be there. Not open mic.
Have
You
my
got to get
tour there then because next year I'm
okay.
starting my tour. It's my own tour. It's called the Underrated Comedy Tour, Her Story in the Making. And what I'm doing is every city I go to, every venue I go to, I'm taking the most underrated comedians that I know that I've associated with myself in 8 years who not getting recognition to different venues so people can see us because I'm
Right,
gonna make her story. Because once I finish doing comedy, I'm gonna be one of the baddest comedy managers in the game. You hear me? With the
that's right.
people I've connected with and the knowledge I've gained just booking myself, I'm gonna
Yeah,
retire and I'm gonna have some of the baddest talent on my team. And this is stuff that God already shown me. So
good
even if
stuff.
I don't want
Good
it, I
stuff.
can't. If I don't
It's
do it,
coming. That's right. It's coming down the pipeline.
yeah.
Well,
I know
Nikki,
they
I
said what I
appreciate you
want
for
don't
coming on.
happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I appreciate you for coming on, Miss Lady. You know we love you. We got a lot of things that we still need to map out and talk about and get accomplished. Thank you for coming on the Industry Talk. Is there any last words that you want to push out to the public or to the people? Because you know we'll go back, we'll edit all of this good stuff, and we'll start pushing these micro clips out. All of the clips that I have, I'll make sure that you get so that you can utilize and share however you need to or choose to. But is there anything that you want to give to the public before we close out?
I just want to say, just be amazing on purpose all the time. Love yourself and give out just as much love as you expect to give. And never stop. And don't let anybody stop you or tell you you can't do it. Do what your spirit says and don't think twice about it.
Don't think twice about it. I love that. I love that. And to everybody, y'all know what it is, man. This is Industry Talk. It's your main man, Big G. I was sitting here with the beautiful Nikki Coleman. And as always, it's all about health, wealth, and wellness. Make sure you stay dangerous, people. Thank you, Nikki.
All right, bye.
Bye bye. And we out this thing.